Now we have way more room. All right, so what's the next step? Yeah. Come here. Bolt drop. I've never got this far. Welcome back to the Austrian Car Guy. Today I've got a big plan. I want to pull out my automatic transmission from the car. The problem is, I already tried it once, but failed. Because the last bolt, the upper bolt of the bell housing to the engine up here somewhere, I wasn't able to pull it out because the firewall was too close. So today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's stay with the fifth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put the lock in. Now I'm gonna lower it carefully. I'm gonna wiggle it carefully just to check if it's stable. Oh wow, this sits really good. Okay, first things first. I'm gonna drain the coolant so I can pull out like the upper and lower coolant hose. And then I think I'm gonna drain the transmission oil. And yeah, I'm gonna see where it takes us, because I'll also have to like disassemble or pull out the drive shaft, the transmission cross mount, the shifting linkage, the vacuum hose to the transmission. What else? The oil lines from the cooler to the transmission and back. Yeah, so a long way to go today, but the plan is to have the transmission in my hands later this afternoon. So fingers crossed, and let's do this. So the first thing I want to do is pop this lid and suck out as much coolant as possible from the top, because with the drain petcock screw, it spills too much coolant everywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna try that one. So I'm gonna try to do it with gravity. The can is lower than where I'm sucking the liquid from, the coolant. So it's like gravity draining the coolant reservoir. So I have sucked out everything I can from here. Now I'm gonna pop the upper coolant hose, and if I'm lucky I can push some air through the system. But worst thing can happen is that it's not working, but I'll have to pull out the upper coolant hose either way, because I've ordered a new one, because right here it was leaking pretty easily, so I had to close this hose clamp really hard. Maybe you can see that. This is still the original hose, so it had to be replaced either way. So let's try it out. Let's try to suck more coolant out of here. Okay, that's it already. Let's pull out this upper radiator hose completely. Alrighty. So I have 2 catch cans that can hold up to 4.5 liters. And I already have almost 2 full. So let's say we have 8 liters. This system, the whole system, including like this heater element, has a capacity of, I think, 16 liters. We have half of it. All right, so what's the next step? I'm gonna pull out the air cleaner, so I have a little bit more room up here. Next thing is the fan housing. with the fan, and maybe I'm gonna pull out the radiator as a whole. Okay, I've got to do one thing before I'm gonna start with pulling it out. Lower radiator hose. So let's pop that and strain the rest of the coolant down here. I've bolted the screw, or turned that screw to the top. So I have to unbolt that screw down here to pop out the lower radiator hose. But first I think I'm gonna pull out the battery so I have a little bit better access. I 3D designed and printed this battery clamp because the original one wouldn't hold the battery, as it was made for a different size, which I cannot get anymore. At least I haven't found it. So I designed this battery clamp and it works perfectly. Way better. Let's pull this off somehow. Now it's loose. Oh yeah. So nothing in here. Or at least not that much. Just some drips. So I want to address this battery clamp again real quick. I have made, I think, 5 different ones. The first one is like a universal GM battery clamp, which didn't fit at all. And so I started redesigning it and fiddling around, test fitting, redesigning it, test fitting. So this is the 5th iteration of it, and it just fits perfectly. It holds the battery down so good. Alright, next, let's pull this one off here. Alright, that's it. Prevents dirt from falling into here. The throttle body. Yeah, next up is the fan, like the fan housing. If I recall it correctly, these are 1/2-inch bolts. Yeah, these are the bolts I'm talking about that hold this fan in here. So let's open them up just a little. But I can't recall if it's left or right threaded. Okay. So this last bolt, I'll just try to loosen it. Here we go. I'm gonna let that on this stud just to keep the fan on this pulley. Now I'm gonna unscrew these 2 top screws to get the fan housing with the fan out. And on this radiator support, this fan housing is held down with 2 clamps left and right, so I can just pull it out. Now I'm gonna unbolt this last nut. I can't recall the call it bolt or nut, but these are nuts, obviously, no bolts. Come on. It's like these clips here. I'm gonna put the fan back in place. Just that I can't damage my radiator. It's raining again pretty heavily. What shall I do? I need to get it done. And I took this day off, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. So I not just wanted to do today, I have to do it today. I'm gonna try to pull out this little stud thingy. This is the one I just pulled out and it's broken here. I think I have replacements for that. Alrighty, I can remember that every single time I forgot about them. Not the smartest move, but hey, it is what it is. Wait. At least these come out easier than the first one. Nice. I think that's it. Yeah. That's it. I'm soaking wet already, and it is 10:30 a.m. But tomorrow should be a better day. Weather-wise, let's hope I'm lucky tomorrow. And for now, I'm hoping to be lucky with the fan housing. I think it's just this clamp down here. Yeah, it wouldn't move up. Okay, so that means I have to pull hard. Yeah. Now it popped out. So. Here we go. Come here. Feel it. So this is the fan. With the clutch, the fan clutch, it's a thermal thingy. And now let's pull out the housing. That's the fan housing. Neat. And what I like to do is put back the screws, nuts and bolts where I pulled them off, because I think today there will be a lot of nuts and bolts and screws. These 4 nuts here are holding down the fan and also this pulley on the water pump. So I want to put them back on so the pulley won't come loose. Here goes the paper towel. Now we have way more room. Look at that space here. These are like, I guess, 10 centimeters. Okay, next I'm gonna creep under the car, pull out the drive shaft, unbolt the exhaust system. Maybe I have to pull out the long tube headers. Yeah, transmission cross member, all the things that are connected to the transmission, like the vacuum hose, the shifting linkage, and the downshift solenoid cable. Yeah, so let's do this. So here again, transmission is already losing oil again. I think it's losing oil here too. That's the speedometer cable, linkage, drive shaft thingy. So it has like a tiny driplet here. The cross member has a drip here. So yeah, I guess this transmission is leaking everywhere, front to back. The e-brake cable, no, I think that can stay in place because I have to unbolt the back of the drive shaft down here. and pull that out. So that's the first thing I want to do. So let's pull out the drive shaft. That's one. Two. Next one. Yeah. All right. All four of them are loose. All right. First bolt is out. 3 more to go. So that's 4 bolts. I'll get my plastic hammer to knock that loose. So let's pull out the drive shaft. Maybe I have to put the car into neutral. So now we're in reverse neutral. I put the car in neutral. So let's see if we can get the drive shaft out now. Am I missing something here? I don't know. But I'm gonna put in just 1 bolt. So if it comes loose, it won't fall down. I'm gonna unbolt the exhaust system. So long tube header comes down here, and I'm gonna unbolt the pipes left and right. Because if I want to lift the engine, they can't be connected. Now let's see if we can get the bolt out. Yeah. Went pretty easy. I'm gonna unbolt the other side as well first. And then I'm gonna get like wires, cables, something to hold the pipes up. Cable here and here. There are a few things I want to disconnect. So this speedometer cable. One thing that's really fast is this connector for the downshift solenoid. So that's already disconnected. It's like just 1 blade cable thingy. Fairly easy. This is the shift linkage that goes up here to the steering column. So I have to get this bolt out here. And on the other side, it's this vacuum hose. And yeah, this is the transmission cross mount, but that's the last thing I want to get out. And this cover. And on the other side also there are these 2 cables, these 2 oil cooler pipes. So I want to unbolt them from the transmission directly. So let's start unbolting stuff. I'll start with the speedometer cable. This is fairly easy to unbolt or unscrew. This is just this thingy I had to get off, and now I can pull it out. So that's that, and you can see the oil on here. So that is leaking as well. Next thing is the shifting linkage. Oh, it wants to shift. Yeah, so that is loose. This is the bolt. And now this should just slide out like that. So that is off. Is there something else on this side? I don't think so. From down here, we have a fairly good view of the bolt I couldn't get out the last time. So it's this one up here. I studied the service manual of that car, and there it says like, for if I can't get bolts loose or get them out, I have to let the end of the transmission sink a bit down, and then I should get the bolts out, but I'm not sure if that's gonna work. So I'm gonna keep unbolting stuff that has to come out first, and then I'll see if I can get all 4 bolts, or 6 or 4 bolts of the bell housing out. So let's pull the torque converter cover out. It has to go anyways, because I have to unbolt the torque converter from the flywheel. Every time I'm struggling with this cover, because I never remember which side goes out first with those long tube headers. Here we go. Oh, yeah, there's transmission fluid in there. This has to come out done. And what else? These 2 oil lines. So I have to unbolt them. And I'm guessing there's oil coming out of it. So let's be prepared for that. So there is another thing that has to go out. This little link here, left to right. I think that's just some safety measures for drive shaft, maybe, I don't know. So where is my half inch? Oh, it's on the other side. That's great. That's that. So 2 things I have to do I don't want to do. I have to get the oil pan out so that most of the transmission fluid comes out, and I have to disconnect the oil cooler lines, and this will spill transmission fluid as well. Let's see if I can get them loose. Yeah. So that is one. I'm gonna put the oil pan underneath. So that's the lower line, and there is an upper line as well. Can I reach the upper one from here? I can, but can I get it loose? Yeah, that's great. Gotta care for those lines. They were really expensive. I paid like 300 euros for those 2 lines. I already removed the drive shaft. It was a bit of a hassle because like the 2 surfaces were stuck together. So with a chisel and a hammer, I carefully hammered it apart. And now that's a bit easier part. There are 3 bolts that connect the torque converter to the flywheel, and with the drive shaft removed, I can turn this by hand and get the bolt to a place where I can unbolt it. Like here, I already unbolted 2, so that's the last one. That's loose. Alrighty, so that's the 3rd bolt, and this is a fairly short bolt. Alright, so those 2 are separated now. Okay. So with these parts removed, I also disconnected the lines already, and now it's time to tackle the cross member. This is also the time to put the jack under the end of the transmission to hold that in place, to pull out the cross member here. I also need to unbolt this connection here. Right, so now that's unbolted as well. And I think that's the easier way. There are 2 bolts down here that hold this shock absorber thing to the transmission, because that's easier than trying to lift the transmission to get that bolt out here. That's a longer one. So long is on the drinker's side, short one is on the driver's side. I'm gonna unbolt the cross member on both sides because it's laying on top of the subframe here, so it can't go anywhere. I'm gonna unbolt both sides, 2 bolts each side. After that, I'm gonna get my jack, put it somewhere here to lift the trans just a tiny bit and pull out the cross member. I've pulled out the 4 bolts for the transmission cross member. So theoretically, it should already move. Yeah, it does. I was able to loosen 2 bolts of the bell housing on the driver's side, not the top one. The upper one is still unreachable, so I tried to get loose on at least 2 bolts. Ideal it would be 3 bolts, because that means that just 1 bolt on the driver's side is missing that I have to reach somehow. Alright, 1 is loose. So let's hope I can reach that bolt up there. 4 of 6 bolts are loose. And I don't know how I can reach the last 2 just yet. I don't know if you can see them, but there is a bolt up there. 1 bolt is down there, right where this filler neck comes up. So if you walk down this tube, you can see the bolts down there. And on the other side, I guess this is on camera, so like that. I hope you can see it. So I pull out the transmission cross member right here and lowered the trans, so it's leaking from the back, but that was expected. And I want to see if I have more room to get to that bolt now, to this back here. You won't believe What just happened? I put together like the longest extension that I have ever seen. But up there is a top bolt I couldn't reach the last time. And when I read the service manual carefully, there was like this one sentence: lower the trans to reach the top bolts. And I just reached it fairly easily. I'm gonna pull out the top one on the driver's side, switch to the drinker's side, pull that out, and then I'm gonna unbolt the lower four, and then comes the moment of pulling out the trans. I can see it moving. Oh wow, what a relief. I hope the drinker's side goes as easy as the driver's side. Watch this. Up there is the bolt. And it's turning so easily now. It's so good. I got it. I got it. I cannot believe this. This is the top bolt I couldn't get out years ago. Now let's get to the other side. There is just one position to see the bolt. But which position was that? From where did I just see that bolt? From here? No. Ah, here. All right. I'm gonna try to lower the transmission just a hair. All right. Let's try it once more. Alright, it's coming out. Question is, will I get my extension out again? Can I reach it with my hands? Not really. Am I ever gonna be able to get the bolt back in is the question. But I'm gonna let that be the problem of the future me. Not as easy as I hoped on that side. Yeah, the bolt is out. Just gonna wiggle it because it's going to fall out. Come here. Yeah. Come on. I can see you. I almost got you. I can feel you. I cannot believe it. I got the top two bolts out. Bolts drop. And now let's get out the lower four remaining bolts and pull out the transmission. And here we have bolt number 3 of 6. 4 of 6. I cannot believe that this went fairly easy. Yeah, It's here. This is number 5 of 6. Oh yeah, here it is. So this is bolt number 6 of 6 from the transmission bell housing. So I just pulled out all 6 bolts from my transmission bell housing. So in the end, I don't think that it was necessary to pull out the fan housing and so on. But I wanted to replace the upper and the lower coolant hose, radiator hose, either way. What I need to do next is to find something to hold the engine, because I think it's heavier on the backside, so it tends to flip towards the firewall. So I need to put some wood between engine block and firewall to keep the engine from leaning against the firewall. One thing I have to do still is pull out the dipstick tube from the transmission, but I think that's it. Okay, so I just put a piece of wood between the firewall and the engine. I'm gonna try to pull out my transmission. The thing with the wood block between firewall and engine didn't work, but this holds the engine. I just tried to lower it again, just a tiny bit, and you won't believe what's happening here. Can you see that? Transmission and engine is coming apart. This is completely insane. I've never got this far. I may have forgotten to empty the oil pan of the transmission, so there's plenty of oil still in the transmission, but yeah, too late now. Oh, and I still have to pull out the dipstick tube of the transmission. I hope it's gonna be just a minor sling. It's so greasy, it won't slip off this tube here. So I'm trying, there is like a small bevel, and I'm trying to lift it. Oh yeah, it's starting to come out. Yeah, here we go. That's out. And here's a lot of oil. So much for not emptying the oil pan. What I just realized is how beautifully red this trans fluid still is. I'm emptying the oil pan gravity, just like I did with the coolant. I tried to suck out the transmission with that little pump thing, and as soon as it started to flow, I pulled it out, and it still is flowing. It's time to pull out the transmission. So let's see if that works. I think it's already out. It's moving freely. I'm gonna try to carefully lower it. So that's a huge mess here. Great. But it looks good so far. It wants to move forward. Okay. I'm gonna try to pull it back just a little. still coming a lot of fluid out of the dipstick tube grommet thing. And you can see it tends to lean forward, so it has to come more to the back, but that's not too bad. I'm gonna lower it carefully again. This is not that easy with those long tube headers. Because so here's the shift linkage that holds that thing back. That is that. Okay, let me try something. Since this is in the way, the handle, I pulled that out. So just back a little, turn it out again. Oh yeah, it's coming down. So I think it's still sitting on those headers. Again, it's this side. Okay, and here's the dipstick tube. I'm gonna pull that out. Almost. Come on. Alright, now it's the steering linkage again. I guess this will be a lot of fun to get it back into the car again. So I can try to lift one side. Okay, I don't know when the camera flipped, but I got the transmission out. Next challenge is gonna be to get past the exhaust pipes. It can't be as bad as pulling it over the headers. Does this work? Yeah, finally. I finally got my transmission out of the car. And it's looking, honestly, it's looking way worse than I thought. So the last thing I'm gonna do for today is pull out the torque converter and get the transmission to my workbench, and tomorrow it's gonna be disassembling and ideally assembling again. And the big task for the day after tomorrow is gonna be put the transmission back into my Caddy. So getting that out was way more difficult than I thought. After I got all the six bolts out, I thought the toughest part was done, but boy was I wrong. Yep. Look at that end play. I don't know if that is normal. I don't think so. So that looks like a lot of end play to me. But we're gonna fix that. I think I have found what was leaking all the time, and it's just a wild guess for now, but I think it really was the outer gasket of my oil pump. If you look closely here, if I wipe that away, it instantly comes back. Slowly, but it is coming back. So I'm just sucking out as much of transmission fluid as I can, because A, it's really heavy with it, and B, I want to bring it back to the junkyard, and I guess they don't like the oil inside of it. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I'm gonna disassemble the whole transmission.